China relaxes visa rules for UK citizens. Epstein files claim Gates sought STD treatment after sex with Russian girls. Billionaire denies allegation. Myanmar junta jails critics to legitimize managed election. UN body. Iran president says Trump, Netanyahu, Europe stirred tensions in protests. Epstein offered ex-Prince Andrew meeting with Russian woman files. China has agreed to ease visa rules for British citizens, allowing short-term visa-free travel, following talks between British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing. Under the new arrangement, British passport holders will be able to travel to China without a visa for stays of up to 30 days. Starmer described the move as a boost for business, saying it would make it easier for UK companies to expand their presence in China. The agreement was announced during Starmer's 4-day visit to China, aimed at injecting growth into Britain's economy. His government hopes the easing of travel rules will support the UK's large services sector, which includes finance, legal services, healthcare, education and professional services. As part of what London called a new partnership, Britain and China also agreed to begin a feasibility study that could lead to a future bilateral services agreement, further improving access for British firms in the Chinese market. The UK government said Britain currently exports about £13 billion worth of services to China each year, and demand from Chinese clients continues to grow. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates has strongly denied allegations contained in newly released documents linked to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, calling the claims absurd and completely false. The allegation appears in a draft email attributed to Epstein that surfaced after the U.S. Justice Department released millions of pages from the so-called Epstein files. The email suggests Gates sought medication for a sexually transmitted disease allegedly linked to sexual encounters, a claim Gates' representatives say has no basis in fact. A spokesperson for Gates said the documents reflect Epstein's frustration after his relationship with Gates ended, and accused Epstein of attempting to defame the billionaire. The spokesperson said the claims were fabricated and rejected any suggestion of misconduct. The draft email, dated 2013, was reportedly written by Epstein in the voice of Gates' former science advisor Boris Nikolic, and contains a series of unverified and sensational allegations. Gates' representative said the email should not be treated as credible evidence. Gates has previously acknowledged that his association with Epstein was a mistake. In a 2021 interview, he said he deeply regretted spending time with Epstein and giving him credibility. A United Nations investigative body has said that civilians in Myanmar have suffered atrocities amounting to crimes against humanity and war crimes since the military seized power in February 2021. In a statement issued from Geneva, the Independent Investigative Mechanism for Myanmar said the military authorities have recently imprisoned people who criticized or opposed the junta's efforts to gain legitimacy through tightly controlled elections. The IIMM, established by the UN Human Rights Council in 2018, is mandated to collect and analyze evidence of the most serious international crimes committed in Myanmar since 2011. It prepares case files to support future prosecutions in national and international courts. The body has also investigated allegations of genocide against the Rohingya in 2017, during the tenure of the civilian government led by the National League for Democracy. Since the military overthrew the elected government in February 2021, the conflict has intensified. The IIMM said thousands of people have been arbitrarily detained, including many who spoke out against military rule, and that numerous detainees have been subjected to torture. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has accused the United States, Israel, and European leaders of exploiting Iran's economic problems to incite unrest during recent nationwide protests. Speaking in a live broadcast on state television on Saturday, Pezeshkian said foreign powers had provoked division, supplied resources, and drawn people into protests, with the aim of tearing the nation apart. He claimed the unrest went beyond social grievances and was part of a broader effort to destabilize the country. The protests began in late December amid soaring inflation and rising living costs, and lasted for about 2 weeks. They subsided after a violent crackdown by authorities. The US-based human rights activists' news agency said at least 563 people were killed, including more than 100 protesters and 214 security personnel. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi gave a lower figure, telling CNN Turk that about 100 people were killed, including around 2,000 members of the security forces. Pezeshkian directly accused US President Donald Trump, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and European leaders of seeking to fragment Iranian society and fuel hatred and conflict. Newly released documents from the US Justice Department show that convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein proposed introducing a Russian woman to Britain's Prince Andrew, the brother of King Charles III. The material is part of millions of pages made public on Friday. In an email dated August 12, 2010, Epstein wrote to Prince Andrew, addressed as the Duke, suggesting dinner with a woman he described as 26 years old, Russian, clever and beautiful, who would be visiting London later that month. According to the emails, Prince Andrew asked what Epstein had told the woman about him and whether she would be bringing a message. In a later reply, Andrew said he would be traveling but would be delighted to see her. The documents also include a later exchange suggesting a possible dinner at Buckingham Palace, although there is no indication that any meeting with the woman actually took place. Prince Andrew has consistently denied any wrongdoing related to his association with Epstein. Last year he was stripped of his remaining royal titles over those links.